The last self-help guide you'll ever need, and why everything else failed you. Listen, I'm going to tell you something nobody else will, and you're probably going to hate me for it. You already know what you need to do. You've known for months, maybe years. You wake up at 3 a.m. with that gnawing feeling in your gut, the one that whispers you're living someone else's life. You scroll through your phone, numb yourself with another episode, pour another drink, tell yourself, tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, does it? Here's why. You've been lied to. The self-help industry sold you a fantasy. They promised that the right morning routine, the perfect productivity hack, or the newest manifestation technique would fix everything. You bought the courses, read the books, followed the gurus, and you're still here, still searching. Want to know the truth? Your problem isn't lack of information. Your problem is lack of awareness. And that's exactly what we're going to fix. Not with another 7-step system or 30-day challenge. We're going deeper. We're going to the source code. The real reason you're stuck, and it's not what you think. Let me paint you a picture. You're driving down the highway. Everything looks fine. The engine's humming. The radio's playing. But underneath the hood, there's a crack in your engine block. Small at first. Barely noticeable. You ignore it. Why wouldn't you? The car still runs. Then one day, boom. You're stranded on the side of the road. Steam pouring out. Wondering how it all went so wrong so fast. That's where you are right now. The crack appeared a long time ago. You felt it. That restlessness when you're doing everything right, but something feels wrong. That constant loop of anxious thoughts, even when nothing's technically broken. The exhaustion that comes from being productive all day, but feeling empty at night. These aren't random discomforts. They're warning signals from the only person who truly knows you, yourself. Here's what the ancient Stoics understood that modern psychology is just now catching up to. The earthquake never starts on the surface. It starts deep underground in the tectonic plates of your perception. Every day you move through without reflection, every emotion you obey without understanding, every decision made from pressure instead of principle, these are the silent fractures. And eventually, they split everything wide open. Why smart people make dumb decisions, including you. You know that voice in your head? The one that narrates your life? Most people think that voice is them. They think those thoughts are reality. They're not. Epictetus, one of the smartest men who ever lived, he started as a slave and became advisor to emperors. Put it this way, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But here's what nobody tells you. Most people never question their reaction at all. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they rage. They see a critical email, they spiral. Their boss looks at them wrong. Their whole day is ruined. No pause, no filter, no thought, just instinct. And here's the kicker. You're not an animal. You're not a machine. You're a thinking being with depth. And depth requires reflection. The transformation you're looking for begins at the exact moment you stop saying, I don't know why I do this, and start asking, what am I choosing to ignore? That's where real awareness lives. It doesn't arrive with fireworks and a parade. It's quiet. It's looking at your routine and realizing it's just repetition, not purpose. It's feeling anxiety not as a punishment, but as a message. Your mind trying to wake you up. The one thing no one can take from you, and how to find it. Imagine this. You're sitting in a fortress, thick stone walls, impenetrable gates. Inside, there's complete calm, complete silence, complete peace. Outside, there's chaos. People screaming, storms raging, the whole world demanding your attention, your energy, your soul. But you're safe, untouchable, not because nothing can reach you, but because you finally remembered something crucial. You don't need the world to be calm for you to have peace. You just need to remember where peace actually lives. The Stoics called this the inner citadel. Not some fluffy concept, a real practical place you can return to anytime you want. Marcus Aurelius, who ran the Roman Empire, talk about a stressful job, wrote this in his private journal. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Read that again. Your soul, your core, your essence, your real self, gets colored by what you think about all day, not what happens to you, what you think about what happens to you. Here's what that means in plain English. If you spend your day thinking you're not enough, you'll feel like you're not enough. If you spend your day thinking everyone's judging you, you'll act like everyone's judging you. If you spend your day thinking you have no control, you'll have no control. But flip it around. If you spend your day thinking clearly, you'll see clearly. If you think from strength, you'll act with strength. If you think from your center, you'll stay centered. Simple? Yes. Easy? Hell no. The million-dollar question, and why most people get it wrong. Here's the question that separates the winners from the losers, the masters from the amateurs, the people who change their lives from the people who just talk about it. What can you actually control? Most people get this catastrophically wrong. They think they can control how others see them, whether they succeed or fail. What happens tomorrow? Other people's reactions, the economy, the weather, the traffic. Pretty much everything that matters. And when they can't control these things, spoiler alert, you can't, they fall apart. Let me show you what you can control. It's a short list. 1. Your thoughts, once you become aware of them. 2. Your actions. 3. Your character. 4. How you respond to what happens. That's it. That's the list. Everything else, not yours. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a pretty small list. How's that supposed to help me? Here's how. That small list contains 100% of your power. Think about it. Every moment of panic you've ever felt, the shallow breathing, the racing thoughts, the way your body tightens, stems from believing the world can reach into your chest and control what lives there. But it can't. Your boss's bad mood can't make you anxious. Your bank account can't make you feel worthless. Someone's rejection can't break your foundation. These things only feel that way when you're disconnected from your center, when your self-worth has drifted so far into other people's hands that you forget who actually holds the keys. The river will break you, unless you learn to swim. Life is a river. You can't stop it. You can't freeze it. You can't make it flow the way you want it to. But most people spend their entire lives standing in the middle of that river, arms outstretched, screaming, "Stop!" at the current. Guess what happens? They get dragged under. Every single time. Here's what nobody tells you. You're not exhausted from moving. You're exhausted from resisting. Every time you fight what already is, you waste energy that could be used to navigate. Every time you demand that reality change to suit your preferences, you hand your power over to forces you can't control. Carl Jung, the grandfather of modern psychology, put it perfectly. What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. Translation: the more you fight something, the stronger it gets. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you get passed over for a promotion. You had it locked down. You did everything right. Then some kiss-ass who's half as qualified gets it instead. You've got two choices. Choice 1. Spend the next 6 months bitter, resentful, plotting revenge, telling everyone who'll listen how unfair it is, poisoning your own well while the guy who got promoted moves on with his life. Choice 2. Feel the disappointment. It's real. Examine what you can learn from it. Adjust your strategy and keep moving. Maybe that company wasn't the right fit. Maybe you needed this to push you towards something better. Same event, totally different life. The first choice is fighting the river. The second is swimming with it. Your mind is a garden, and right now it's full of weeds. Let me ask you something. What did you think about in the last hour? Go ahead. Try to remember. Can't do it, can you? Most people can't. Their thoughts just happen, like weather, random, uncontrolled. But here's the thing. Your mind isn't a TV that just plays whatever's on. It's a garden. And you're the gardener. Right now, though, you're an absent gardener. You haven't checked on your garden in months. You've been too busy looking at other people's gardens on Instagram, wondering why yours doesn't look like that. And while you were distracted, weeds started growing. Thoughts of doubt, habits of avoidance, small fears that grew roots. These weeds don't announce themselves. They're subtle, quiet, but give them enough time, and they'll choke out everything good. Seneca, another brilliant Stoic who was also one of the richest men in Rome, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In other words, the problem isn't what you have or don't have. The problem is what you're growing in your head. Here's what this means practically. Every repeated thought is a seed. Every habit is water. Every ignored emotion is a root system forming quietly beneath the surface. You might not see the damage immediately, but it's happening. Over time, neglected thoughts become patterns. Patterns become identity, and identity becomes fate. But here's the good news. Fate isn't fixed. It's just a result of what you've been cultivating, consciously or not. The story that's killing you, and how to rewrite it. Real talk for a second. Something happens. Let's say you're late to a meeting. The fact is, you're late. But watch what your mind does with that fact. I'm always late. I'm undisciplined. Everyone thinks I'm a joke. This is why I'll never succeed. I'm a failure. See what happened there? You went from "I'm late to a meeting" to "I'm a failure" in about 3.7 seconds. That's not reality. That's judgment. And judgment, more than the actual event, is what's breaking you. Here's the truth most people can't handle. The majority of your pain doesn't come from what happens. It comes from the blade you turn inward every time you believe a thought without testing it. Two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away with completely different realities. One person gets rejected and thinks, "That wasn't the right fit." Next, the other person gets rejected and thinks, "I'm unlovable. I'll die alone." Same moment, different story, different life. Marcus Aurelius, who had the most stressful job in the world, wrote in his journal, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Read that until it sinks in. You have the power to revoke your judgment at any moment. Not easy, but possible. The cage. You built yourself and why you're still sitting in it. Picture this. You're in a cage. But here's the weird part. The door is wide open. You could walk out anytime you want, but you don't. You stay. Why? Because you're convinced you need permission to leave. Permission from your parents, your boss, your friends, society, the stranger who might judge you on the internet. You're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to be yourself. Here's the hard truth. That permission will never come, because you're the only one who can give it. Most people spend their entire lives performing. They walk into a room and immediately scan faces, looking for approval. If they get it, they feel good. If they don't, even slightly, something inside them shrinks. They've outsourced their worth to people who don't even know their name. Seneca put it bluntly. He who seeks approval is dependent on others to live. Not connection, not love, not meaningful relationships. Dependency. There's a massive difference between valuing people's opinions and being owned by them. The first is healthy. The second is slavery. And here's what that slavery looks like in real life. You don't speak up in meetings because you're afraid of looking stupid. You stay in relationships that drain you because you're afraid of being alone. You don't start that business because you're afraid people will laugh. You don't write that book because you're afraid it won't be perfect. You don't take that trip because you're afraid of what people will think. Every single one of those fears is just you, sitting in an open cage, waiting for permission. The power nobody talks about, because it can't be sold. You want to know what real strength looks like? It's not the loudest person in the room. It's not the person with the most followers. It's not even the person with the most success, by conventional standards. Real strength is the person who can't be provoked. They don't flinch when criticized. They don't panic when misunderstood. They don't enter every disagreement trying to win. They just stay steady. That steadiness, that's not genetic. It's not luck. It's built in silence, in discipline, in 1,000 private moments when no one's watching. Seneca said, "The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach." That includes strength, but not the kind you're told to display, the kind you earn by facing yourself, by outgrowing your reactions, by not needing to be louder just to feel seen. When you're grounded, your presence does the talking. There's nothing more unnerving to the world than someone who cannot be provoked, someone who doesn't chase validation, someone who doesn't need to win every argument. They're solid, unmovable, like bedrock. The one practice that changes everything and costs nothing. Here's a practice the Stoics use that sounds crazy until you try it. They rehearse disaster. Not because they were pessimists, because they were realists. They'd sit down and imagine everything that could go wrong. Lose their money, lose their health, lose their reputation, get betrayed, get humiliated, get canceled. Then they'd ask themselves, okay, if that happened, what would I do? They called it premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, and it worked. Here's why. Fear feeds on surprise. It grows in shadows. But when you meet it with preparation, it shrinks. Most of your anxiety isn't about what's happening now. It's about what might happen later. Your mind runs worst-case scenarios on repeat, and each time it does, the fear gets bigger. But when you deliberately imagine the worst and walk yourself through it calmly, something magical happens. You realize you'd survive. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you're terrified of public speaking. Your heart races. Your palms sweat. You convince yourself you'll freeze up, look like an idiot, and everyone will laugh. So you avoid it for years. And that fear just gets bigger. Now imagine doing this instead. Sit down, close your eyes. Picture yourself giving that speech. Picture yourself forgetting your words. Picture people looking confused. Picture that awkward silence, then ask, what would I actually do? You'd probably take a breath, maybe make a joke about it, gather your thoughts, keep going, and guess what? The world wouldn't end. That's the power of rehearsal. The final truth that nobody wants to hear. I'm going to level with you. Everything I've told you today, you already knew it. Not consciously maybe, but deep down, you knew. You knew that chasing validation was making you miserable. You knew that trying to control everything was exhausting. You knew that your thoughts were creating your reality. You knew that you were living in reaction instead of intention. You just didn't want to face it. Because facing it means taking responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. But here's what they don't tell you about responsibility. It's also freedom. When you realize that your suffering is often rooted in your own blindness, you stop being a victim. You stop waiting for the world to change. You stop hoping someone will save you. You save yourself. And that's the gift the Stoics gave us. Not a philosophy to admire from a distance. A toolkit for living. For standing up straight in the storm. For building something solid when everything else is shaking. You don't need more information. You don't need another course. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to start. Now. Today. Not tomorrow when you feel ready. Not next week when things calm down. Not next year when you finally have your shit together. Now. Because here's the truth that cuts through all the noise. Every day you wait is a day you're choosing to stay in the cage. The door's open. Walk through it. I need you to do something right now. And I'm not asking for me. Right now, literally this second, someone you know is sitting in that cage with the door wide open. Maybe it's your brother, your old college roommate, that guy from work who seems fine but you can tell he's barely holding it together. They're drowning in the same lies you were drowning in 5 minutes ago. They think they need more productivity hacks, more motivation, another course, another guru. They don't. They need the truth, this truth. So here's what I need you to do. First, hit subscribe. Not because I need another number, because that button is your commitment, your line in the sand, the moment you decide this year is actually going to be different. Second, and this is the important one, send this video to one person right now, not later, not when you get around to it, right now. Think of one person who needs to hear this, one person who's stuck, one person who's living in reaction, one person who's forgotten they hold the keys to their own cage. Copy this link, text it to them. Don't write a paragraph, just write, watch this. It's not what you think. Trust me. That's it. Because here's what you need to understand. Knowledge is protection. When you were sitting in the dark, confused about why nothing was working, you weren't lazy. You weren't broken. You were just missing the map. This is the map. And the single most powerful thing you can do right now, not for me, not for YouTube, but for someone you actually care about, is hand them the map before they drive off the cliff. I've seen what happens when people get this information too late. When they've already burned their relationships, destroyed their health, wasted decades chasing things that don't matter. You can prevent that today with one text. Third, drop a comment. Tell me one thing from this video that hit you, one insight that made you stop and think. Because when you write it down, you own it. And when you own it, you can't unknow it. Plus, I read every comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear tomorrow. Finally, if you got value from this, if even one sentence made you see things differently, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need it. People who are searching for answers at 3 a.m. People who are one bad day away from giving up. Your click might save someone's life. I'm not being dramatic, I'm being dead serious.